everyone. Welcome to my live. I'm excited for this week's show. I am sharing my favorite high-speed blender and a simple everyday green smoothie recipe that I definitely make a lot and was very big in my health and wellness journey. Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining in. I'm so grateful you guys can join here with me today. If you're new, I'm Missy from Wellness with Missy, and I am a plant-based lifestyle coach. Oh, someone has a question. Let me see. What kind of water do you drink? I definitely like to drink filtered water. Sometimes I will distill water and have distilled water, but I pretty much like to just use regular filtered spring water. Yes, I'm excited about my green smoothie today that I'm going to be sharing. It's pretty much my everyday go-to smoothie. It was one of the smoothies that I started to make when I started my own health and wellness, plant-based journey, and to this day, it's my favorite go-to. And I love the way it tastes, and I love to share that. And then I also am going to share my favorite high-speed blender too. So I'm excited for today's show. And if you are new, I have a live show every week where I am sharing with you products and things and tips to help elevate your everyday wellness routine, healthy lifestyle habit, all that kind of fun stuff. And because it is live, you can ask questions. Yes, it's a game changer because, yes, that is so true. I love that. That is so cool. I can read everything. I think I need to get some glasses. I think it's Samantha. Hi, Samantha. Thank you for your questions. I know it was, I learned so much about nutrition and health and wellness when I was studying at IIN, the Integrative Institute for Nutrition, and there I learned just so much. And when I started to go to IIN, I really was just going there as a place to learn more about nutrition. I was very interested in health and wellness. I was living a very stressful life, and I just figured I can learn some things and get some tips, and it totally transformed my life in so many ways. I'm so grateful for that school and to this day, and then inspired me to want to share my love of health and wellness and how much that when for myself I started eating whole food plant-based foods, and little by little it just transformed my life, and I love to share that. And pretty much that's what every week's show is about. I'm so glad that all of you can join in. Living water, no I haven't, but you're welcome to DM me some messages about what it is. I'm happy to look into it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So if you do have any questions, you can either ask them while I'm live. If you see this after, you're welcome to leave them below. And I also do have written out a few questions that was sent to me before, so I definitely will get to those as well. But I guess I will just start. Thank you so much for everyone joining in. I'm Missy. I'm a plant-based lifestyle, health and wellness coach, and I just love to share all things about health and wellness and hopefully inspire you in some way to live a happy and healthier lifestyle. So I will start, I guess, with my blender before I get into my smoothie that I made today. And I usually share this one a lot in my stories, or every time anyone even asks me about, plant-based eating and how they can eat more plants and vegetables. And one thing I love to suggest is starting with making smoothies, because it's a great way that you can add in vegetables and fruits into your smoothie. And if you start your day with that, it's just kind of setting you up and setting the tone for the day. I personally just obviously love plant stuff, and I know a lot of people have been commenting about my t-shirt. I will leave a link below on where it's from. My friends over at Vegan Knowledge, they sell it. It definitely wasn't like this. I used to own clothing stores and have a fashion background, so I kind of redesigned it so it would fit me a little bit better, but I will leave a link there. So to my blender. This is the Optimum Blender G26 from Frothy, And I absolutely love this blender so much for so many reasons. I've had this probably for over a year now, and I literally use it every day. Not even maybe just one time. Sometimes I will use it like 2-3 times throughout the day, and has nothing but held up so well, and I absolutely love it. And I'm so excited every time I share about this blender because it really has just changed my life. When I did first start my plant-based journey, I didn't have all kinds of fancy kitchen equipment and all that kind of stuff. I used a basic Black & Decker blender, a NutriBullet, and those things are all fine. I still have them in my kitchen, but as I started to teach myself how to cook and to prepare whole food plant-based foods, because I knew nothing about how to make anything, I slowly started to grow my kitchen appliance accessories and things that I use every day. And that's what's the thing about the plant-based lifestyle, is that it's super easy. You can use whatever you have, but also everyone is different. Like for me, having an awesome high-speed blender that allows me to make my smoothies, my soups, my nut butters, nice cream, all that kind of stuff is just a very helpful tool for me, because I like to keep things simple, and that's what I use a lot. But for someone else, it could be something different. But like I said, don't have to start with this, but right now, actually, I did bring my iPad too as well, so I can share with you on their website. They are having a big sale now, which is awesome, and this is a great time to pick it up. This blender has so many amazing things to it, which I will share with you real quick before I tell you the price, and you can go check it out. There is a link in my bio. But this is a high-speed blender. It's a 2400 watt speed blender, so it's super fast. You literally can blend so many things in this. Like I said, anything from baby food to nut butters to soups and smoothies, nice cream, so much stuff, and it literally just does it 1, 2, 3. You don't have to think about it. Never gets like clogged or anything. It does come with that wand. I forgot to bring it with me today, but there is a top that you can open if you did need to do that. And then inside there are the blades, and the other thing that's awesome about this blender is that there are 6 blades instead of 4, and this is all BBA free, and it also can hold up to 2 liters. So it's very big. So sometimes when I'm making smoothies for a bunch of people, it's great because I could just fill this up literally and make 3 or 4 smoothies easily, decent amount for everyone in one shot. So I love that. And then this is the base to it, and it is so cool because it looks really nice and clean on your countertop, but it's also all digital. I don't have it plugged in, but when you plug it in, there are these settings that are already there on the blender. So all you have to do is set it and walk away and let it do its thing. So there is one if you want to just like chop some vegetables, and sometimes when I'm making a salad, if I want to have some cabbage or carrots and celery and things like that, sometimes I'll just put it in my blender and like chop it up a tad and put it on my salad. It's just much easier to eat and all that kind of stuff. You could do sorbet, which is kind of like nice cream, so you could throw like chunks of frozen bananas and stuff in there, and it will totally whip it together, nice, thick, and creamy. And soups, I make a lot of soups in here. I share a ton of recipes at Wellness with Missy if you want to check them out. Sometimes if I'm gonna make a soup though, I will maybe like steam my vegetables, like carrots beforehand if I'm gonna make a carrot soup, and then you just put it in here and you hit this, and it totally just makes it nice and warm, and it's ready to go. You just put it in your bowls and serve it. Grinds it, which is another great thing for like nut butters. There's a smoothie setting, so it goes for about 45 seconds. It starts and it makes the smoothie, break it up a tad, and then it does it again, and then it goes for 45 seconds. I usually do mine on 2 settings of smoothies because I just like that consistency, but you can play around with it and do whatever you like. And then there is also another automatic setting for a sauce if you wanted to do that. But there also is a timer and a speed. You have total control, which is really nice as well. But I like the preset settings on here, so it's like 1, 2, 3, I just set it and walk away and let it do its thing. And there is also a pulse button too here on the front, which is super cool. And it's really not that heavy, and I like to just leave it out on my countertop. I did find that when I first started eating plant-based whole foods, if I had either a juicer or a blender or something like that. If it was in my closet, I would sometimes be like, oh, I have to go in the closet and take it out. So I find that the essential things that I use every day, I leave them out on my countertop because it reminds me to use them, but also they're just there ready to go. And a few things that I'll just share too about the blender and the way that I clean it is it's super easy to clean. I usually put some, soap at the bottom with some warm water, and then I just set it on a setting, like the smoothie setting or whatever, and I just let it run, and it totally like cleans it out. Sometimes if I'm making a nut butter and things like that, I have to really get down in there, and I usually use a brush, but it's super easy to clean. And like I said, I use this blender every day for over a year now, even sometimes 2-3 times a day, and I've had absolutely no issues with it, and it is just so great, and I absolutely love it. And I wanted to just share real quick what they say here. So on the Frothy website, there's a link in my bio right now. The blender is on sale. So when you buy the blender, I have shared before, it comes in this beautiful big box, and it also comes with a recipe book. So if you're new to either making smoothies or using a high-speed blender, they give you so many great options of ideas and things that you can make. And right now, it is actually, it's on sale. It's usually for $229, which is so awesome. I didn't even really know that until this morning. I went to look, and you also could purchase it on Amazon. It's on my Amazon store if you'd like, but this sale right now runs for like another day or two. So if you are looking for a new high-speed blender, I would definitely check this one out, the Optimum from Frothy, the G2.6. Premium Platinum Series blender. It's so awesome, and I love it. And they also give you a 30-day free trial. So if you want to try it out and you don't love it, you can send it back, and they won't ask any questions. But I'm telling you, I think you're gonna love it, and you will use it every day. I've been using it so much. And let me just see if there's any other details. And if you do go on their website too, it shares, like, it compares it to other high-speed blenders, and that's great because it kind of compares. Oh, and then this is also commercial grade blender. So it's domestic and commercial grade blender. So it really like helps it to last longer, because usually industrial places, when they're using blenders and stuff like that, they're using them so much all day. So you know that if you're really using it a lot to make a bunch of different things, it's really gonna hold up well and all that kind of stuff. And it blends stuff so good. This is a 2400 watt speed blender. There are 6 blades instead of 4, and I just absolutely love it. I love the way it looks and everything. So if you have any questions, you're welcome to leave them below. If you're seeing this later, you can leave the questions there. I'm happy to answer them for you or DM them to me, but I would definitely check it out. And it's so great that there's a sale going on right now, because that's awesome. And it's just definitely something, investing in a high-speed blender over the long period, it's just very beneficial, because you can use it for so many different things, and it's just another way to invest in your health. And when you invest in your health, which is wealth, it's like such a great thing to do. And I know from my own experience, when I started to realizing the power of eating whole food, plant-based foods, I just started to just transform so many things in my life, and I just love to share it. And it really is super easy, and it doesn't have to be complicated. And bringing me over now to the smoothie that I usually make every day, what's great about it is that it's super easy to do, and it's packed with protein and fiber, antioxidants, all the good stuff, and you can easily make this one 1, 2, 3. So I wanted to just share a little bit about the recipe. This green smoothie is probably the recipe that I started my health and wellness journey on. I definitely have not always eaten whole food, plant-based foods and lived a healthy lifestyle, but little by little, it just was a process, and I started realizing how good I started to feel. And with one thing I started with was having a smoothie in the morning. And yes, at first it was filled with so many different things, but I kind of figured out that this works best. And I know one of the questions that someone asked me was like, how do you know how to make a smoothie? How much, vegetables and fruits, and what is the ratio and all that kind of stuff. So I think that what I would suggest is that having like 2 cups of either vegetables whether it's greens, or you can even use frozen cauliflower, frozen zucchini, frozen peas, even frozen sweet potatoes, any of that kind of stuff. They all help make your smoothie a lot more creamier, and you're also getting all the nutrients from those vegetables, and it's another way of just adding those in and starting your day with those in your smoothie is just a great way and a great tone to set the day, because you're feeding your body with all this nutrient dense foods, which is just so amazing. And once I started to realize how much that even having the smoothie first thing in the morning, it would allow me to feel like my energy was nice and consistent. I didn't feel like hungry and I needed to eat right away after having it. And so it's pretty much my go-to. I make all different kinds of smoothies every day. I just love making smoothies. One day I hope to have a smoothie shop. But so what I was saying that I would suggest is like 2 cups of fruits and vegetables, and then maybe like 1 cup to 2 cups of fruits. And you know, maybe sometimes when you start out you want to maybe add a little bit more fruits because you're not really used to eating the greens and things like that. But I'm telling you, once you just add in the fruits, it really takes over the flavor. I also sometimes will add like 1 or 2 dates to my smoothie. I forgot to bring dates here today to show them to you, because that gives it like a little sweet taste, and it really does help your sweet tooth cravings. If you have those, like throwing 2 or 3 in your smoothie in the morning, it helps tremendously, because I've noticed the difference if I forget to put them in and then I do. So usually for my green smoothie that I make every day, I will put in about 1 cup of kale. And aren't these things so cute? My sister-in-law, they're so round. My sister-in-law and my family and my brother, they gave them to me as a gift, and I just thought they were so cute. So I put usually 1 cup of kale, 1 cup of spinach, a banana, and when you are putting your stuff into the blender, I suggest that you usually put like maybe your banana, if it's not frozen, first with the greens, and all that kind of stuff before you add in the frozen. If you're putting frozen anything, I usually put that at the top, so then it could start to blend at the bottom, and then by the time it gets all blended, it'll bring the frozen stuff down. But you could just put it the other way too. It's just a little suggestion that I have found that works the best when I'm blending. So there's 1 cup of kale, 1 cup of spinach. Then I usually do mangoes, and I will do about 1 cup of mangoes, 1 cup of pineapples, and spinach and kale. They're loaded with so many vitamins and nutrients, calcium, all kinds of great everyday essential vitamins and nutrients that you need. Fiber is in these, and having them in your smoothie, starting your day with that is just such a great way to start your day. And then the mango and the pineapple, I love this combination. The pineapple is just so good for your digestion. It's so good. There's so much fiber in pineapple and so many other amazing nutrients, and putting those 2 in there gives it a nice flavor. And then I have usually a banana. I will put maybe like a little piece of a half of avocado in my smoothie as well. You don't have to add the avocado, because I do add other healthy fats, because that's another thing that I feel is very important. So like when you're thinking of making a smoothie, you want to think about protein, you want to think about fiber, and also a healthy fat. So I will put in some avocado. It does also help make me feel more full through the early morning before I'm gonna go and maybe have my lunch. And then I usually do a mix of chia seeds and hemp seeds. I usually do about 2 tablespoons of hemp seeds, because that is about almost 9 grams of protein in those. And then I do probably 1 or 2 tablespoons of either chia seeds or flax seeds or some kind of seeds. That's the ones that I use, but you can use cashews, you can use almonds, you could use whatever kind of seeds or nuts that you like. It's another form of a healthy fat. And then I usually always put in cilantro or parsley. They're just power-packed little herbs that just, you don't really taste. I do definitely sometimes taste the cilantro if it's nice and fresh, and I love that taste. So it's a great little mix with the tropical fruits and then the greens. And I always put in a bunch of ginger in my smoothie along with dates. And then I will put about 1 cup of liquid. I usually use water. You can use oat milk, almond milk, You know, I've shared another plant-based milk maker, which is a great way to make your homemade milks for your smoothies and stuff, because you know exactly what's in them. I would just be a little careful, because sometimes some of the plant-based milks that are on the market, they can be filled with a lot of sugars and things like that. So you want to just read the ingredients. But you can add in like regular oats and then just add in water, and you're getting all of the protein and the fiber from the oats. That's another great way. But to start, if you want to go with a plant-based milk as opposed to water, it's a great way to just get your body used to having whole food plant-based foods, because over time your taste buds will definitely change. Like, you will start to crave whole food plant-based foods. You'll stop wanting to you'll eat processed things once you start nourishing your body with these wholesome ingredients and things like that. And I know from my own experience that's exactly what happened. And I just love this smoothie recipe because it's super easy to do. You can usually find everything at the store. There's not some fancy ingredients in here. One other thing I do want to share is that if you get the fruits, you can buy frozen fruits, which is great because they sometimes, when they're picked ripe and they're frozen with all their nutrients and everything in it. So that's great. But always read the packaging, because sometimes, I don't know why, they'll have other ingredients. Oops. Sorry about that. Sometimes they'll add another ingredient. So just make sure it says just the fruit inside the package. And I know if you are by Costco sells organic fruits in a big bag. That's where I usually get my mangoes, my strawberries, my blueberries, organic from there, a huge bag, and it's really not expensive, and it lasts so much more over time, making smoothies and all that kind of stuff. But if it's in season and in the summertime, I like to buy and use local fruits. I do live by a lot of organic farms, so that is great. And the thing about smoothies too is you can pick your favorite one to go to every day, or you can also just have fun and make whatever you have in your fridge and make a smoothie. I also think that having and making smoothies, it just is a great way to keep yourself like on track and eating healthy. And you know, even if you make a batch of smoothie that you're going to have some left over maybe later in the afternoon, if you're looking for a snack, it's much better to grab and have a little smoothie as opposed to some processed kind of snack. This in the long run is investing in your health, and you're just going to feel so much better. You're not going to have crash in energy and any of that kind of stuff. So this is my favorite go-to green recipe smoothie. I know that a few people had questions, so I just want to make sure. Does anyone have any questions? Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining in. I'm so grateful that you guys were able to come. If you did miss it, I'll save it to my profile, and I will also leave the recipe there and information about the high-speed blender, the banana, and about the frozen fruits. And yeah, so the main takeaway really when you're looking to make a smoothie is you want to make sure that you are covering, you know, you have a protein, a healthy fat, and a fiber in there. I'd like to say about 2 cups of fruits or vegetables, about 1 cup to 2 cups of some kind of fruit. And then you always want to have like a healthy fat, which is either like seeds or maybe some avocado. I definitely love to add ginger. The ginger is like a powerhouse food. It is so good for digestion and you know, the immunity, all that kind of stuff. And then I do put cilantro in mine, banana or avocado. You could use frozen banana or a regular one. So those are the kind of tips that I would say if you're going to focus on trying to make a smoothie. That's the ratio I usually use. And then a liquid, 1 cup of liquid. I use usually water, but you can use a plant-based milk as well. And then dates. I usually do, I forgot to bring them as I said earlier, but doing dates make it a little sweeter, and it also will help your sweet tooth cravings if you have them. You can also use agave or maple syrup if you'd like. I personally I love dates, so I like to put them in there. And also too, when you're having your smoothie, you want to kind of enjoy it too, because you want to think about all this stuff, if you were to sit down to eat it, how long that would take. So you kind of want to think that as you're having the smoothie. And sometimes I make my smoothie a little bit chunkier so that it's a little bit easier to not go and have it quickly and right away. You can kind of, even sometimes if there's chunks of stuff in there, you could chew them a little bit, like the frozen fruits and things like that. Oh, hi John, thanks for joining in. And back to the blender. I love this blender so much. I use it every day. It is just so awesome, and they are having their sale now, and it's great because this blender is on sale right now for $2.29. There is a link in my bio, so you can definitely go and check it out, read all about it. If you have questions, definitely DM me or leave them below. And that is about it for today. It was so exciting sharing with you about my everyday go-to green smoothie recipe, my favorite high-speed blender, and I'm so grateful for everyone that was able to join in. If you did miss it, I'll leave it below, and feel free to ask me questions at any time, and I will see you next week on my live. Thank you so much for joining. Have a good day.